Yep. Wish my mother wasn't so depressed. Oh, okay, look at this. It's
Uh,
crazy. So depressing. Okay, are we live? We are live, and it's time to do what we do every week. It's time to get this show on the road. Record to this computer. Actually, I can't record just yet until I mute this. Yeah, okay, I had to mute that. Um, okay, good enough. Now we can record. Record to this computer. Okay. Okay. So, hi, everyone. Welcome to the Goldfish Report. I'm your host and researcher, Louisa. Today is Friday, the 13th, June 13th, 2025. It's a strawberry moon, full moon, and we're at war, but we'll
yeah,
get to that in a minute. This is Goldfish Report number 1157, and it's our weekly food for the soul with our friends, psychic medium Mark Christopher Nelson and his lovely wife, Barb Nelson. How you guys doing this week?
we're excellent.
Wonderful,
Did you get
considering.
that presentation ready, Barb? You've been busy.
Oh, do I have a
You're
present?
no,
Well,
no, I was just
our,
wondering how that's coming along because I wanted to
Oh,
let
yeah, yeah.
everybody know about your amazing gifts and talents, and I wanted to showcase you on a Steel Magnolias.
In a couple weeks.
isn't
I'm
Okay,
on assignment and I'm really busy,
gotcha.
but
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
a couple weeks.
Welcome, Mark. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh, uh-oh. We hope so.
I
Mark,
thought I was. I did not predict that coming.
Have some
So
water.
yeah, so I'm good. I'm generally pretty good, and life is fine. I
that's
think that
good.
there's a little bit something in the air,
It's
and it's caused
because
me to
it
cough and
rained.
choke a little bit. So, but that was funny timing. So interesting, eye-opening week, don't you think?
Yep.
Why don't you were talking about this, and in fact, even gee, how long have we been doing this now? I mean, even I think like at least 2 months ago, Mark, you were telling me or telling everybody about your predictions for some civil unrest, and here we
Yeah,
are. So here you are.
I
I
know.
mean, this absolutely validates you, every time. Um, why don't you can you just give us an
Sure.
update on those predictions? Okay.
Well, everybody, I mean, tomorrow, I do think that I heard this idea that there will be some bad guys mixed in with your ordinary protesters, which could create a lot of confusion and some chaos.
Yep.
So, if you absolutely need to go to the event, be conscious of how you can leave, be conscious of how to handle yourself in a crowd to get away if things turn a certain way. I just, I gotta tell you, I still keep seeing, I saw it over, it's already happened, but I saw more smoke over Los Angeles, more snow, and I saw specifically fire and smoke and turbulence and violence in New York. So my concern is that we're going to see more of what we've seen. And so, again, I really do think that there are some people that just want to go out and have a party, some people that don't like Trump, and then there's some people that are seriously focused on trying to harm people in a large
Right.
way. So, and I would say also too that what we may see is that this ridiculous resistance. They're saying no kings. Didn't anyone notice that he was elected? Trump was elected, whether you like him or not. He was elected. He's not a king. So that whole premise to me is flawed. So it's one thing if you don't agree,
I
but
Yeah.
thought I got it mixed up. I thought they were talking about Gavin Newsom.
Oh, wait till you see what he.
but my
He thinks he's a king. His wife was out shopping in Beverly Hills the day of the protest.
in any case, what I predict for everyone is be safe tomorrow. And also too, I know what I was going to say that tomorrow may be something of a nothing burger, but look, don't be lulled into a sense of complacency because I
Right,
think that stuff is going to happen afterwards. I think that,
right, right.
there are terrorist cells that are not going to be happy with what's happened in Iran. They may be, they're green lighting them. We are an ally of Israel, regardless of whether we were involved in the military action against their nuclear power facilities. So some people may still see that we are a fair game, in which case there could be some really untold problems. But again, they may, tomorrow we may see some, but it's not the sum total. I think we're going to see a lot more
There, yeah, also,
after.
yeah, also too, I think that they're getting military tactic advice because someone was on one of these talk shows and she was saying that, remember when the policemen got stuck underneath the overpass? Remember they were throwing
Yep.
concrete on them?
Yes.
No,
Yes. Mhm.
peacefully protesting, and they were throwing concrete, and then they were forced to go under that
Yeah.
overpass, and the sheriffs totally, they couldn't come and get them, so they were trapped. And she saw this, and she goes, that's a military tactic to isolate some group and then
Hmm.
go after them. So they're getting
Interesting.
military advice with these protests. They're not just like, people going out like holding up a sign and,
Well,
it's
I
a
mean,
tactic.
well, that's an excellent point, Barb, because we know that the citizen journalists who were at the border, were adamant about how these were these were young men, military age men coming across the border
Right.
from
Mhm.
different nations. So,
Yep.
yeah, they're militarized, they're organized. They've been organizing all through the 4 years Biden's administration for time such as this. So,
Yep.
um, did you want to finish? Sorry.
No, I was just saying that this is beyond police and sheriffs. That's why they brought in the National Guard. Trump knew, because I'm sure
Yeah.
he's heard about stuff, that yeah, we need to bring in the military to protect everyone. And
And
he
while that
has
was
that.
happening, Gavin Newsom said these are mostly peaceful protests, and so Trump just decided
No.
he needed to send in the mostly peaceful military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly,
Perfect.
and so that's it. First, I want to welcome everyone who's watching, and of course to our,
Funny.
our viewers in our live chat. We have Marisha. Hi, Marisha. Nice to see you. She says hi, Louisa, Mark, and Barb.
Hi.
This is
Hello.
Marisha and Vicky, our friend Vicky. Hi, Vicky. Nice
Hi,
to see you.
Vicky.
Our friend Inger is here as well. So if you have a question for Mark, because Mark is a psychic medium, so his predictions are based on and he's accurate. I mean, it's happening. And Mark has been saying this for what, at least 2 months, probably
Yes.
longer. I'm
Yeah.
I'm just being conservative. I'm sure it's longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, we did a report right around New Year's Eve because I know you went on
I
George
was gonna
Norway,
say
Yeah.
and you are
last
going to go on
year.
George Norway again. You want to tell
Yeah.
everybody when that's going to be?
Yes. Yes, it's going to be July 2nd. It's a Wednesday night, midnight Pacific Standard Time. I will be doing George Norrie for another predictions show for the next coming 6 months. One of the things too is that at that event, I saw that this would be a year of turbulence, that we're going to see violence stirring up. We're going to see civil unrest. And I said that actually last New Year's.
Yeah.
And
You
unfortunately, I think
did.
it's going to come to fruition
Yeah.
pretty quickly. So, I mean,
Mm.
I've been advising clients, make sure you have some extra food on hand, make sure you've got just a little bit of a buffer. Because if you're someone who normally doesn't has an empty fridge and you just run, I mean, the great thing about New York is you can go out and get anything anytime you want, but there may be a point in the near future that you don't want to
Right.
have to go out to market to get a bottle of water. So that's one of the things I'm hearing.
Okay.
So,
Hmm.
but moving forward,
Yeah.
I think we're going to see this level civil unrest and or some violence, and also too this will have a dramatic or direct impact on financial markets. We're going to see things do
It already
some
has. It's
and
crashing
crashing,
the
and then
market.
it'll things will calm down by the end of the year. So I would just say for everyone, be smart. I'm not gonna really get on a plane right now, but if you have to, I'm sure that you'll make good plans. I also encourage everyone that if you say a prayer, also too, if you're not feeling right about something, is this a good
Right.
time to travel? If you keep and it really can be more than just your fears talking.
Right.
Because I mean, I admit sometimes is that my fear speaking, or is this something
Mm.
greater, more impactful? So ask yourself that, and keep yourself, just be aware if you do decide to travel, what's going on in the city at the time, and make the choice that you think is best for you.
All right. Well, that's a good advice. I wanted to also welcome Amy. Hi, Amy, joining for the first time. Amy, Mark is a psychic medium, so if you have any questions, anything on your mind, or anything you're wondering about that you want to ask, please type that in the chat if you like. Include your name and the name of the person that you may be inquiring about. Also, hi to Davy Jones. Davy, I see your question. You have to be a little bit more specific though about what, like, uh love, finances, the
Health.
world, whatever, health. Yeah. So general questions are hard to tackle really. So, both of what you're saying is absolutely, on target. We have, the problem. Oh my gosh. I mean, let me go through my information that I have because it may answer some questions that some people may have, trying to put all this together. It's really Trump's job is to really, expose the corruption and end it. Now,
Hmm.
we're dealing with a shadow government. We're dealing with a cabal, an infiltration, really, of the world, and of the world systems. Now, don't forget, I said the word systems because it
Hmm.
is how society is structured. Um, these raids, so this is what happened as consistent with what I report every week. ICE wasn't actually there to arrest illegals. My sources are saying that ICE was there, to execute a search warrant on 3 people that belonged to cartels. And they
Mm.
panicked, things went wrong. And then what happened? Well, my sources are saying, get ready for this, that they panicked and they called Gavin Newsom.
Ugh,
And so he's working with the cartel. Basically, most of California has been taken over by the cartels through your elected officials who are compromised. And how do we know this? We know this through, what's her name? The one that's under investigation now. What's her name? A mayor of, DC. I'm sorry, the mayor of LA. I have her name here somewhere.
Karen
yes,
Bass.
Karen Bass.
Karen Bass is going to get, this is major. There's investigations into her right now,
Yep,
and into her working, especially with her background, working
yep,
with the paramilitary operations, in Cuba with communist
Yes.
parties, and how she came into power in California.
yeah,
So the problem is we have been infiltrated. And, if you're looking for, enemy paratroopers jumping onto US soil, well, they're already here,
Yes.
So, the problem is the cartels are controlling a lot of the government leaders, and, but everything is being tracked, and they are Trump's military. It's still a sting operation. These things are going to happen. But as we were talking, I think before we started the report, trying to tell people the truth. This is really what the definition of demoralization is, okay? It's ideological subversion. You get
Mhm.
people to the point where they don't know what the truth is anymore. They
right,
just cannot tell. And believe me, I've
Yeah.
had my struggles with that too, because it's mass confusion, and that's what they do. That's mass confusion. They're trying to wake people up and raise your consciousness, but all this, a corruption has to be exposed, and you can't tell people. You have to show them. And
right,
unfortunately, if more people were willing to put on their big boy and big girl pants, and, take it on the chin, you, we would have, it wouldn't be this painful.
No.
But it had to get this painful because of the people who just refuse to understand that we have been infiltrated and that there are
right,
systems of control, throughout, not just the United States, but throughout the world. For instance, some of these groups that are funding these riots,
Mhm.
are, you're not even going to believe this, but there's groups that are, funded by Iran.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
There's groups funded by other foreign countries who
Yeah.
are here to create an insurrection. Now, I'm sure Trump's going to probably declare an insurrection. I can't imagine he wouldn't. He had no problem sending in the military to quell what was going on. And let me tell you, when they came, you didn't hear any more problems from that neighborhood.
No.
No.
Right, right. So, but the most important thing that in terms of policy was labeling the cartels as terrorist organizations. And at that point, because they are working, sit down, it's going to be a tough one.
I know.
They are working with bankers. So the banking systems, the cartels are working with intelligence. The cartels are working with state governments. Uh, they are working with mayors of certain cities. I mean, it goes
Yep.
down to every level of government. Now, we also know with some of the military, we also know our Supreme Court, I'm sorry, Supreme Court is possible, but we've had judges who have had these gang leaders in their homes, and that arrest just happened recently.
Yep.
Yep.
So the fact that we didn't know this was happening, it's going to be a shock to people, but it's going to be exposed how this was allowed to happen in America. And but what Trump has to do, because these are all staging, these are all game theory operations. So the military is allowing the deep state cabal to make their moves in an effort that will wake people up, but also uh, collect their data, collect all the information, their networks, who they communicate with. I mean, it's a really very sophisticated operation what they're doing. Okay. What Trump wants to do is get all of this proof into the national records, into our history,
Right.
so
Yep.
that we learn never to let this happen again.
Ugh.
And next time somebody wants to have an uncomfortable conversation with you, have it anyway. Don't worry about your feelings. Feel the discomfort and do it anyway.
Well,
Because
it's usually the discomfort of the other people who tend to be very Democrat heavy, lefty leaning that just, and
Well,
I say that I used to
Yeah.
be one. Okay. So it's not like I'm just throwing around jingoistic terms. For decades, I voted Democrat.
The problem is
And
when
I just
when
couldn't.
we try to have a conversation with people, we tend to just be parroting the different talking points that we hear
Yes.
rather than really critically thinking about the issue and how, it may affect us or what other things may be involved. And the problem with that is that it's not that people aren't smart enough, it's that people are very good-hearted. Human beings
yeah.
don't want to kill. They don't want to do mean and bad things against other
No.
people, typically.
No.
So it's just because we're good natured, and that's the only reason, that's
Yeah.
our
Don't
only
think that
fault,
way.
our only short-sightedness, and I don't blame human beings for being this way. But why do I say human beings? Well, because we're not the only ones here, and we're going to get into that in a little bit, very
Yes.
shortly. But I just wanted to say too that the riots are coming, as you said, Mark. There will be provocateurs in there. They will kill some of them, probably. Oh, I shouldn't
Yeah.
be saying that on YouTube. Oops. Well, according allegedly, right? Like this is being they're talking
Okay,
about it all
fine.
over the
Yeah.
internet that
Yeah.
there's going to be a mass casualty event happening. Now, I've had a source say it's possible, like Phoenix, so in that area, so be careful, don't go to
Mhm.
shopping malls. And they're gonna,
Yeah.
of course, there's going to be retaliation from this war because Trump today just announced that we're supporting, which we always knew anyway, that we're supporting Israel's attempt to defend themselves. And that's a whole other problem. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, that's a whole other, why should we be doing that, right? But so the deep state will try to blame MAGA for that kind of
Right.
event, this mass casualty event. They will try to blame the military, and that will give them that a foot in the door, so to speak, essentially execute and engineer a uh, civil war, civil unrest, and try to do a military coup. And it may get that bad, and you'd better be prepared for it. I mean, I really wish I had better news. I really wish I could tell you tomorrow it's going to be sunny and 80 forever, and I
No.
can't. So I mean, there's sheriffs, I think, in California going against Newsom. There's chief of police going against Newsom. I mean, they know how corrupt it is. They really do. This is going to all lead to, let's see, the trafficking operations, the Davos in Switzerland. All of this is going to be exposed. The White Hats rather, are tracking everything. But these huge riots are planned by, from according to my sources, the clowns in America, if you know what I mean. Trump is, they're gonna internet. So using this Palantir technology and these supercomputers that I've been reporting about, and controlling the internet, the satellites, controlling the cameras on the phones and everything, they're going to collect data on every person that's involved in this. You remember in the 2020 election, do you remember the reporter Dinesh D'Souza put
Yeah.
together a little mini documentary on what he called 2000 Mules, and it was
Yeah.
and
Right.
in the very beginning, what I found was totally amazing was how they mapped everybody, where they went. Like, they know the phone number of the person, they know who the person was that went and visited that Dropbox 10 times. I mean, it's
They
amazing the
had
amount of data
Yeah.
they've collected on everybody. Yeah.
They had cameras on those boxes. We had one out by
Yeah.
us
Yeah.
out in
Yeah.
California. And I looked at the box and then I looked up and I saw the camera right on the box.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. It's for
They
our
try and
safety.
hide it.
It's for our safety too. Let me just get through this real quickly and then we'll take some questions. So Tulsi Gabbard was also warning people that a lot of people will be getting in trouble. Uh, Trump probably will invoke the Insurrection Act. This will be under the Laws of War manual. If you don't have it, you can look that up. So this is the part of the storm, I would say, storm operations that are overt. It's now coming out into the open. There has been a lot going on behind the scenes, and but now we can all see what's happening. And so June 14th, things tomorrow, as you were saying, looks like it's going to be very serious, but everyone was going to be tracked. And my advice is not to go. I know you were a lot more discreet about your advice, but I'm just telling people, do not go. Do not go to a shopping mall. Do not get on a plane. Do not be near military installations. These are all soft targets and they will be hit. I mean, this is what's being reported by other military analysts. So of course, they need that mass casualty event in order to blame Trump, start the coup d'etat, the military coup.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, um, that's their plan. They also want to go after Trump. And I think they are going to try. Did you see, Mark, you had said back a little while ago about you felt there was going to be another assassination attempt on Trump. Are you still
I think that there would be. I think that there's
attempt?
someone,
Yeah.
and also too that this time it would not be maybe a lone gunman,
Hmm.
but perhaps an explosion. So I feel like that whoever is out to hurt or
Yeah.
kill him is willing to kill other
Right.
people in order to make sure the job gets done. I
Of
pray to
course.
God it's wrong.
Of course, because
And
really our enemy is not human. And we're going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. The end of all of this, the CIA will get exposed, and that's really who's behind all of this. And it was the OSS after Project Paperclip, after World War II, it was the OSS, which came here and became the CIA. And they created NASA and all these other things. So,
Mhm.
we have been infiltrated. It is the Fourth Reich, and this is really who our enemy is, and they're global. They're not just here. We're inside a very, very pivotal moment, I would say. So,
And
let me just see something else. Yeah. Okay. So these are the kind of people that, pay for color revolutions. They
right.
pay protesters. It's very sad to see, our fellow countrymen, uh, involved in these protests, and actually not all of them are. I mean, maybe these are all the people that came through the border. I mean, we don't know who
Right.
they are yet.
Yeah.
That will be determined.
Can
So
I just,
go ahead, Mark.
Lisa, can I
Go-
just add one comment to that? Is if you feel that you need to protest, and it's your right, it's your First Amendment right to go out and protest for what you believe in, please don't bring your children. I think that is so
Oh, yeah.
stupid. Don't bring your children. Leave them at home with grandma or whoever, Nana, because they don't belong there. They don't belong in front of the danger. And I know that the left will sacrifice their children just so they can get on camera and go, oh, look at, they got hit by a pellet or
Yeah.
something, you know. But if you're sensible, I would keep the kids at home and you go
Yeah.
protest
Yep.
for them.
Yeah. Well, I definitely don't think we have a First Amendment in this country, because that was the basis of which the courts took custody of my children. So, and it's in a court
Right.
document, it's in transcripts. They used my First Amendment speech. And when,
God.
there is no
Yeah.
law. We have been infiltrated. There is no constitution. I hate to tell you that. There's no one enforcing it. So if no one's
Don't enforce it.
enforcing it, there is no, I mean, literally, I was at a Governor Christie town hall meeting, and I had asked the governor a question, and I made a comment. I was very civil. I had my kids with me, and then they thought that that was at-risk parenting to bring my young kids to go meet the governor. So that's in court records. So it's corrupt. It's so corrupt, you have no idea. Nothing is what you think it is. Well, let's go to some questions from our viewers. It's all a setup, guys. If it's a trap. I've had law enforcement on video, I'll play it, who say, don't go. It's a
Right.
trap. You will get in trouble.
Yeah.
It's not, it is there to, you will be implicated, you will be in trouble, and you might even be, hurt severely.
Yeah.
It is not a place to be. They are insurrectionists. They are criminals. They are going to cause riots. They are not there to protest. They are there to
No.
riot and cause mayhem.
Chaos.
That's,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Barb. I'm not trying to, I'm just being a little bit harder hitting, because, there's a pattern of it. And
Yep.
I don't want people being deceived about that.
No.
Okay, so Davy Jones is saying he wanted to know if he could have a message for the next few weeks regarding love and finances.
Um, Davey, I feel like love is not going to be in your I don't see love. I feel like you're waiting. So it makes me think that if you're not with someone right now, I'm seeing you wait, wait, wait. So what I would say is be really in love with yourself. Take good care of you, okay? And let this other, it just feels like that this is going to be a hard time. Feels like that the idea that you would meet someone meaningful right now, I'm not seeing it. I wish I could say yes. Financially, I feel like I get this visual of you being able to pay out money. So it makes me think that you have money to pay. So if you're concerned about having some liquidity, you do have money, you'll have it available to take care of yourself. And then be patient for love. It comes later. I feel like that, I could see you making a friend. It just feels like friendship. Yes. Love, not really. And money, okay.
Okay. Now, Matt, if you can answer that question, I just need your dad's name, and then we can see if we can get a message for you. Hi, Charlene. Thanks for joining us. Now we have Vicky here. She says it goes all the way down to your local librarian. Oh my God, yeah. A system that has taken years to put in place, and one that the masses are still awakening to. I mean, Vicky knows, man. Vicky
Hmm.
knows. She
She knows a
knows.
lot.
Amy says, "Hi, Mark. What do you see for my love?" Oh, okay. Wait, before we get there, so Matt is asking if there's any messages from his dad. His dad is Mark, also.
Okay. Um, okay. Um, Mark is like, I don't know if there's kids around Matt. I'm seeing like propping up baby. He looks pretty positive. I don't know if there's children around Matt, if there's new baby. I'm seeing he's pointing towards kids and being very happy. So I don't know if you have kids, but he's showing me children being, he's excited about you being around them. He also says, oh, uh, your he says your finances are going to be okay. They will be okay. He also says, pay attention to your respiratory health. That comes up as a little bit of a concern. So he's showing me like coughing and choking. So be good to yourself, all right? If we're talking about staying out of crowds, if you need to do something to take care of your immune system better, do it. If you get a congestion or something sticks around, don't be complacent. Okay? This comes from Dad. Dad is I still love you. Okay? That's what I hear.
Aw. Okay, thank you for that. That was very nice. Let's see. Okay, so we also have Amy. She says, what do you see for my love life? And also, do you see me making a career move and when? So this is for Amy.
Actually, Amy, I go to the career move. I feel like you're saying that's it. I'm done with this. So if you're really at wit's end with something you're not enjoying it anymore, I see you saying, I'm gonna change this. I'll take the temporary hit. It's better to do that. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Also, too, I feel like love is, I'm gonna say stalled. I feel like you're wandering around. There is someone who's what likes talking to you, but I feel like that there's more walking around and talking than anything romantic happening. So I wish I had better, more exciting news there.
Okay. Well, you can only say what you see, right?
Yeah, but hey,
I mean,
if you want me to lie, it costs a little more.
yeah. Actually, just speaking of which, if you want to do a private reading with Mark, you can go to marknelsonmedium.com and you can book a reading there, or you can give one to as a gift to someone if you want.
Right.
Yeah, that's and of course you're going to be on George Norway on July 2nd at 12 a.m.
12
Pacific.
p.m. midnight Pacific,
But
3 a.m. for
isn't
me
that
on the East
AM?
Coast.
But that's AM though, isn't it?
Or
12 a.m.
12 a.m. midnight. Midnight.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those times
Yeah,
that you're not quite sure whether it's AM or
I'll say
PM.
midnight on the.
George, that's what time Eastern? That's 3 a.m.
Yes, it is. It'll be horrible. I'm going to come out of a coma and start doing the show.
Gee, Mark, I wish you luck on that. I know how you are
Oh, I've
after
done
our
it.
report.
Slap here, slap
Barb.
there, put on some coffee, and then I'm useless the following day.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's see, anyone else? Yeah. So while we're waiting, oh, Jane. Hi, Jane. How you doing? She says, what do you see for my love life? I'm looking for someone spiritual. Thanks.
Um, Jane, actually, yeah, we've had three questions about romance. I understand how important, but Jane, I feel like that someone does reach out and hold your hand. So I really feel like that the handhold is a nice thing. So I would say be open to this. Also, too, it means that you have to go out and circulate, be around people who share your views, okay? But I do feel like that there is something in the offing, okay? Something gets started, okay?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh, they said thank you. Yep. Uh, uh, Jane, oh no, Amy and Matt both said thank you as well. So, you had a question, and what was your question about the ETs? It was a
Oh,
viewer
yes,
or a friend of yours who had a question, and she wanted us to address it on the report. So, did you want to
yes.
restate that? Yeah.
Friend of mine, Marie, has brought up the idea of should we be collaborating with aliens?
Mhm.
Are they there? Can we collaborate with them? And what's interesting, then you and I off camera and Barbara were talking about, well, they can be hybrids. And so, in fact, Barbara and I just saw an old movie. We were talking about people who were aliens. Are they aliens or are they demons? I mean, it really gets interesting. So, my sense, my feeling is that I don't believe these aliens who can, masquerade as people or be controlling as some evil people. We shouldn't be involved with them. I don't trust them. I imagine that there are some levels of government, and this is something maybe the two of you know more about. But my sense is that unless you're dealing with them at a very high level, I wouldn't trust them. I feel like that I don't know if I would trust our own government with how they've handled or helped us. So I would say if you're aware that you're dealing with someone who may be an alien or maybe one of the Greys or whatever other, they're reptilians. My sense is they probably want to take advantage of you, hurt you, use you in some way, and I would say stay back. So what have you and Barbara,
What do you think? What do you have to say, Barb, about that?
Well, we watched that movie Constantine, and it was interesting because they had hybrids, and these were people like Constantine who had committed suicide, died, but had a second chance, came back, and if he did good, then he would be forgiven. And but there was a whole series of hybrid people like that were kind of in between heaven and hell, and they could redeem themselves. So, but as far as the aliens, I think that yeah, how do you know they're not demons? I mean, what, that people talk about these lizard people, reptilian people, and it's like, well, maybe that's a demon, you don't know. But I believe it.
yeah. Well,
Well, I
let me just add one thing real
sure,
quick.
sure, go ahead.
Barbara and I have gone looking for what we thought were negative spirits in a house,
Hmm.
only to realize that, oh, these
They were
actually, they were
aliens. Yeah.
aliens. They were interdimensionals, which may be
Right.
another turn of phrase
Yeah,
for them. And I
interdimensional.
didn't
Yeah.
like them, and they were very manipulative.
Right, right.
So there's I mean, really, you answered your own question because you knew, you had your own firsthand experience with them. So,
Yeah.
especially at high levels that you don't trust them either. I mean, allegedly, like I've interviewed Laura Eisenhower, who's the great granddaughter of, President Eisenhower. And
Oh,
she
wow.
said that there was this agreement called the Greada Treaty. And this was made with, unfortunately with Grays, and they made deals for uh you're not going to like this. But she's saying it was MJ-12, which was a committee that was established by the government to kind of control the narrative of these sightings, because it was around World War II,
Hmm.
that they were coming and they were deactivating nuclear warheads on missiles.
Mm,
And so MJ-12 was formed to deal with the alien issue. If Area 51, is all this stuff's going on there. They reverse engineered, technology to and that was the agreement that was made between either MJ-12 or Eisenhower, or and the Greys, was an exchange. And the exchange was for advanced technology. This was in the Cold War. You can understand that
Hmm.
they would want to have an advantage over other nations in
Yeah.
this world war, the Cold War. And um so the exchange, so on one hand, we were getting this technology, a very advanced technology that we had no business really having, in exchange for the abductions, so that they could do experimentations. Now, apparently, what they claim is that their race has been like genetically engineered to the point where they can no longer reproduce and they're dying. That was their theory. Another one is that they want our resources, so they had to hybrid themselves in order to come here and infiltrate within our society to take it over.
mm-hmm,
Now
mm-hmm.
that's more plausible, I
Yeah.
think,
Yeah,
because that's that, and it's not a coincidence that that's exactly the storyline in Avatar.
Huh.
So they tell
Yeah.
us this through Hollywood. Hollywood is a CIA operation.
right.
Um, so they tell us this. It's in their Satanist laws. They have to tell us what they're going to do to us. They always have to tell us. It's usually right in front of us, but we always see it either as science fiction. I mean, they're using deception. They think using deception with regard to informed consent is the same thing, and you can't have deception and informed consent, because then it's not informed. So,
Yes,
you know
Right.
what I'm
they're
saying? So
operating on lies.
we can't consent, but they say if we don't object to the deception that they show us, then it's tacit consent. And it's not, because if it's deception, so then it's
Mhm.
not informed. So
No.
anyway, you know, it really does get kind of to be like a very sticky situation. But that was what happened. And they would take, you know, the adrenal and they were kidding, you know, what happened was they weren't sticking to their agreement. And too many people, so Project Blue Book was among the projects that was established in order to monitor all the people who were claiming that they were having alien abduction experiences, and Benny and Barney Hill were one of them. And
Right.
they were
Mhm.
part of Project Blue Book, and they reported what they saw and what happened. And their eggs were taken, the sperm was taken. It was violent. And these people don't, these entities don't have you know they don't have emotions like us. So
Yeah.
it
Right.
doesn't occur
Right.
to them that it's, you know, traumatizing people and terrorizing people what they're doing. People, you know, the book community, people do have memories of abductions. People do, or they were supposed to have their minds wiped. That was part of the deal, that they would never remember what happened and they would be put back and unharmed. Well, they didn't keep, lo and behold, they didn't keep their end of the deal. So
No.
do you think we could trust them again in the future? Now, supposedly Valiant Thor was an entity that came from Venus, who the book Stranger in the Pentagon was based on. Frank Strangers was the agent who was assigned to essentially uh, look after, I would say, Valiant Thor, who lived at the Pentagon allegedly for 3 years, and was trying to guide um, positive uh, make positive changes and make an offer for peace and all this if you give up the weapons and all that, and they wouldn't do it.
No.
So they didn't go with the good guys, allegedly, if they're good. So the problem is, you know, the decisions that were made. They also found that these downed craft crashed, you know, that were retrieved, and I've interviewed Max Steele, who was one of the people who used to go retrieve them. um he's passed away, but I did many interviews with Max Steele. um so they have found, you know, human remains in some of these ships, but they didn't, this is what Roswell was about, and
Wow.
they didn't want this getting out to
Well,
the public, and they didn't want to acknowledge it. They didn't want anybody, you know, asking questions and so forth. So the problem was, you know, I mean, people aren't going to want to realize that there's like an intergalactic, you know, trafficking operation going on,
Yeah.
and that's going to freak people out. But like, I'll
that's
tell you.
ironic too that human trafficking is at the forefront of so many operations, military,
Mhm.
and our fears of just humans, and the
Yeah,
idea that there are aliens or hybrids
yeah,
involved with it as well
yeah.
is
Maybe that's where
horrible.
all those missing children are.
Maybe they've been disappeared out of this
Yeah.
dimension for that matter.
That's a very strong possibility. Now, you know, I just wanted to, as a matter of fact, and I'm going to wrap up this point. John will be with you in just 1 second. I just wanted to screen share this, and I need to get the setting right. So just bear with me for a second. My computer, is it hung? They don't like me screen sharing. I don't know
Hmm.
why. You know what? It's not working. I've shared this video before, and it says aliens in the Bible 100% proof. Oh my God,
Oh,
it's hung
wow.
now. It's hung. You guys might remember. I don't think I'm going to be able to play it, but
Oh,
it goes through
oh, she's
the Canaanites who were born with this distinguishing mark that is referenced in the Bible. And they went to Yahweh and said, well, we're going to which is that like their god of the moon or something. Um we're going to, you know, surely be hunted and killed for our distinguishing mark. So they created this tool. They Joseph and the Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Mhm.
yeah.
Technicolor Dreamcoat is based on the image technology that was given to them to make them beautiful, and it is a coat of light. So literally, it is like a hologram that they wear. And we cannot
Wow.
distinguish, it is so advanced, we cannot
Oh,
distinguish this. So they tell us this and we don't believe it. See, this is
Wow.
it, but it's such it's such a puzzle, such a mystery that we don't even understand it. But I had played a video of her showing this woman who does this wonderful analysis, biblical analysis, and she pulls it through many different sections of the Bible that talks about, well, I think this was like what Genesis 3, I think, talks about this. And or 6, one of the two. Um so they created this enchantment tool. That's their terms. It's in the Bible under those terms. And those and it has to work within a certain range. So
Hmm.
if it's, I guess, in a sense like our Wi-Fi, if we're not in range, we can't get a signal and it won't work.
Sure.
So this
Yeah.
image technology that's referred to in the Bible many times um hides this distinguishing mark. Now, because that line is supposed to be, the serpent line, it's going to have scales. So the reptilian, the lizard people, this is, I think, what the Bible has been referencing.
Wow.
Yeah. So are there reptilians among us? Yes. Yes. And through magnetism, I think they can hold their human form, and I think that's why they need the blood to do it. So Dracula, this is what we're talking about. And if Prince Charles is saying he's or King Charles is saying he's related to Dracula, then it tells you what his lineage is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is who runs this realm, and this is why we're having all of this. They want to feed off of us, just like the Matrix showed us. It's exactly how that is. They're using us for our negative energy. So they live off of that negative. It's called loosh. So the more war, the more trauma, the more mass casualty, the more misery they can create and generate, they feed off of that. So that dealing with that is another issue I'm not talking about today.
No.
But as far as the aliens are concerned, it definitely says in the Bible, that there were hybrids, there were Nephilim, there's all these other creatures that aren't,
right. Right.
um, they are humanoid, but they're not human beings. So we
Mhm.
have to accept that. Plus, if you look at Enoch, Enoch promised that these Nephilim spirits and all their offspring, that they were going to roam the earth as evil spirits. So there you have it. I
Yeah.
mean, you
Yeah.
encounter it, and this is like firsthand what you guys were just talking
Yeah.
about.
Jeez. All right. Well,
Right?
yeah.
So that's to answer that question. That's why I told you it's not a 30-second answer. It's
No.
not
No.
it's not that black and white, because this is, I should write a book. I mean, this is like the accumulation of 10 years of research and interviews and whistleblowers and everything. But let's get back to see if we have any questions. We have John Smith, who is saying, will things be peaceful for me this month of July?
I think that I see you, John, turning a key, which kind of makes me think that you're in charge of saying, do I want it to be peaceful or not? So take it, recognize that you have power to shut the door on people or events that you don't want to participate in. But I see you turning a key. So see yourself as empowered to seek and hold on to peace.
Wow, that's good. Joanne made it. Hi, Joanne. Glad you came by. Yeah, so do you want to, talk about what other kinds of events that, oh, actually, Mark, Joanne has a question. She wanted to know if you could tell her about her health. She has a new health issue, Joanne.
Okay. It feels like everything is from like sternum, chest. I feel like that I'm hearing like inflammation, a little bit of coughing. Um, I want to go to larynx or throat area. So if there's something that is bothering you there, it feels like it's a persistent dry cough or a problem. If that's just, I'm seeing that it would behoove you to go and have it looked at. It feels like that there's an inflammation. I don't see it as the C word, but it feels like something that would need to be treated. Also, too, kidney flush. For some reason, I feel like I'm getting like my kidneys feel a little bit either tired, overdone, overworked. Um, Anything you can do for kidney health, flush, do something of a kidney, be good, take a look at the kidney function.
Hmm.
Okay. So that's what I'm seeing.
She's saying her thyroid.
All right, well, I'm up here, so thyroid.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little different location. Yeah, okay.
So I was like thyroid upper anyway. So if
Thyroid.
it is
Okay.
thyroid, I'm not trying to make it because I was just like, I think the thyroid is around here, I believe.
Yes, it is. It's right here.
All right, so that's where I was feeling some irritation.
Mm. You
It's
said throat. You did say throat.
Yeah, I did say throat.
Yeah.
Um, but what I would say is that um, thyroid, it feels like it's not functioning at its highest level, that you may need a supplement. So take a look at if have the doctor look. I don't think it's time for full-on thyroid replacement or all of that.
Mm.
So, but it feels like it's not functioning at its highest level, and that may lead to you needing to uh, get involved with like a therapy that I so early on to say it, but it feels like that. Uh, I don't know that a supplement will be enough, and you may need to have surgery and then take something to replace hormones lost through inactive thyroid.
I would definitely recommend anybody who has questions on health to go to Dr. Brian Ardis, if it's and also Dr. William Mackis. So I think you should check those two out. Dr. Ardis recently has talked about conditions like he's the one who discovered it was the venom of
Mhm.
the king cobra and the crate
Right.
snake from China that were contained in these in that was in the COVID.
How do
So
you spell his name, just so everyone knows?
Dr. Brian, I think it's Bryan, and Ardis, Ardis is the last
Okay,
name.
okay.
Yeah, it's on my Twitter feed. If you just go to my Twitter feed, it just you have to scroll, but I repost so much research that I do is just, it's not good for me really sometimes, but
Ah,
um I'm Sagittarius, what can I say? I mean, I just have this thirst for knowledge that just doesn't it's not we've never quenched. And it's maybe a little OCD, but or maybe a little excessive or maybe addictive, like a workaholic kind of thing. It's not really like that because I enjoy it. I guess that
Yeah.
disqualifies you from being
no, it's
a
not, that
workaholic.
doesn't.
I don't know, but yeah, it's
A need to know.
yeah, I mean, it's like Barb, you do a lot of this research too. I mean, you spend a lot of time
Oh,
online.
yeah. I just found out something really interesting about COVID. If you had COVID, long-term COVID, that your adrenals got messed up, and that's why a lot of people are really tired. And also too, it had something to do with your vagus nerve. The vagus nerve controls a lot of things, the thyroid, the adrenals, the kidneys, the vagus nerve. And I found out you can reset that. You can reset your vagus nerve.
Well, I just did a reading this week for someone, and I thought there was a compression of the vagus nerve.
Yeah,
And it turns out that through chiropractic treatment, you
right.
can have it
Yeah.
adjusted. It has to do with the
You can,
alignment of your neck.
right. You can reset that, and then all your symptoms will go away.
And it
And
affects the mind and it also affects
the
breathing too.
nervous system, I think it's the sympathetic nervous system.
Huh.
But they're just finding that out about long-term COVID, that was affected. So if that helps anybody. And vitamin B1 is really good for the vagus nerve.
That's interesting. I
That's
should
funny.
find it.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's not surprising because oh yeah, I lost my verified check mark on X. Let me tell you what happened. I wanted to be verified. I wanted to see
Yeah.
if it would make a difference in my feed, which is, is still extremely censored. Of course, they only really promote the ones that they want you to, the narrative they want to push. I don't care
Right.
what Elon Musk says, it's BS. It's
Mhm.
still very, very much effective, happening, controlling those algorithms. Also, so and then at the time, he says, "Oh, it's just for a cup of coffee, right? $8 a month, whatever." But then I said, "Well, premium is only $23, so I'll try that." So I had so 1 month I had it, and or 2 months I had it, and then the next thing you know, it's $46. And I
Ah,
said, "No, I'm not getting anything for this money. Why should I pay this?"
Yeah.
Right? And I'm not getting boosted. The censorship isn't, taken off my
Oh,
account. I'm not getting, so I said, forget it. So I wanted to just go back to just the verified account, regular, whatever, and they wouldn't give me that option. So, I have no blue check mark. So there's some people I can't even respond to. But let me just say really quick that these are the people, the individuals that I was referring to. This is Dr. William Mackis here. I interviewed him. There's a GoldFish report with Dr. Mackis. He's an amazing man who's using ivermectin fenbendazole to treat cancer
yeah.
successfully. I mean, thousands of people. He's the largest cancer clinic in the world, folks. You don't need to die from this.
Oh, he's in
I
Canada.
he's a Canadian. He's in Alberta.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
So this is where you want to go. So that's why that mark that message is there. And then of course there's also this is Dr. Brian Artist. So I just wanted to share their websites so you could see. But I'm frozen again.
yeah.
It's interesting. I mean, like I'm not frozen throughout the whole report, and then of course I want to screen share this, and then it just doesn't want to cooperate. Let's try it one more time. Are you guys there?
I can see now.
Okay, so here we go. This is Dr. Brian Artist. So this is the
Yeah. Yeah.
drartistshow.com. And he's got this new book called, Moving Beyond the COVID-19 Lies. It's amazing, his book and the recommendations, biodefense. In fact, nicotine, how nicotine, it's amazing. I wish
Right.
I could go into it, but we don't have time to do that right now. And he's got these other things. You just want to antidote. That's the name of the interview that he did. And this is where he talked about um, that it was spike and that nicotine was the antidote because of the propensity of nicotine to bind to its own receptors, because
Hmm.
the venom was binding to nicotine receptors, they found. So that's why
Huh.
he was recommending taking the nicotine, because it'll essentially kick the spike protein out of that receptor. And then you take something else in order to kind of to bind onto it that the body can remove, like NAC or nattokinase and
Right.
bromelain, yeah, things like
We've
that.
taken all of that. We have.
Yeah. So it's good to do that. I mean, it's a full moon, so I hope everybody's doing their full moon parasite cleanse right now, because they
Oh,
say that's when they're most active,
Oh,
right?
really?
oh,
Oh,
really?
okay.
Yes, that's why a lot of people are waiting for that full moon. In fact, I know a whole group of people on X who are
Oh,
doing it together, and I've been doing it
Okay.
too. Let me just see if anyone else has any final questions, because we're winding down. Hi, Marisha. Great. Oh, thank you, Marisha. I appreciate that. She said great report tonight, so I hope they like that.
Yay.
Um, she said interesting. Oh, so Doctor, yeah, I did spell it. I hope everybody got that. I did screen share those websites. No, interesting, Barb. So she thought that Joanne thought that was interesting what you had said. Great
Vegas.
report info. Okay, well, I mean, that's, we're trying to, oh, let me leave off with this video here. Um, I just want everybody, I just want everybody to understand what may be coming. I cannot vouch for this 100%. It's 3 minutes, but you need to see it. It's very important that you understand what's happening in the world around us at the moment. If I can just get this to work.
We see you now.
Yeah, and it's not letting me select my settings here.
Oh,
Yep, just a minute. Just a minute. I don't know why it's doing this.
YouTube.
Um, Okay. Yeah, here we go. If I don't put the sound on, if I don't optimize the sound, then you won't hear it very well. This interestingly wasn't our page. That was our chat though.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, that's the page, and I'm going to try screen sharing again because I'm just going to end the report with this because this is summing up exactly what is unfolding. Many believe, and am I frozen over there?
You are a little bit. There, you're back.
Oh
I
boy.
see you
Okay, here we
smiling
go. Here we
left.
go. Okay, listen to this.
And what else is happening? The emergency broadcast system is on standby. Military insiders have confirmed that global communication infrastructure, including satellite networks previously used by mainstream media conglomerates, are now under alliance control. When the switch is flipped, the blackout won't be permanent, but it will be necessary. We're talking temporary phone outages, internet restrictions, and a shutdown of legacy media. In their place, real-time intel dissemination via the quantum grid, bringing undeniable truth to the people. This transition won't just inform the public, it will expose decades of criminal activity buried by the elites. What's coming is not a conspiracy theory. It's a controlled takedown of a global network of deception. And yes, sealed indictments are being acted upon. Over 700,000 files have been processed. In fact, insiders confirm that many major political figures, media personalities, financial leaders, and even foreign dignitaries are already facing justice, some via military tribunals. Some, we're told, have already been dealt with. Now, let's take a step back. Why all of this? Why the coordinated global operation? Because the people were never meant to know what really went on behind closed doors. We're talking dark money, trafficking, bioweapon research, and unspeakable crimes against humanity. Recent leaks have confirmed what many suspected: tunnels beneath high-profile government sites, even Capitol Hill, were allegedly used for child trafficking and ritual abuse. And overseas, covert labs connected to state actors were discovered conducting illegal experiments, some involving children. These revelations have shocked even the most seasoned investigators. But remember, this is not a story of despair. This is a story of justice. The White Hats, operating under constitutional authority, are reclaiming sovereignty nation by nation. In places like Ukraine, Switzerland, Italy, and Australia, off the books financial schemes are being exposed, and puppet governments are being forced into quantum compliance. At the Bank for International Settlements in Basel, quiet negotiations are underway not to preserve the system, but to ensure its peaceful surrender. Back in the U.S., the illegitimate structures propped up by corporate statutes since 1871 are collapsing. The IRS, no longer operating under lawful mandate, is now under investigation. Thousands of agents have reportedly been reassigned or quietly detained. This is the unraveling of the old system and the foundation of a new one rooted in sovereignty, law, and transparency. Now here's the bottom line. The deep state is cornered, and when rats are cornered, they lash out. Expect false flags, civil disruptions, digital attacks, and desperate narratives from mainstream outlets trying to distract you. But none of it will stop the inevitable, because the people are awake, and the plan is in motion. As we approach the 14th of June, keep your eyes open and your hearts steady. The Trump-led military alliance is not only defending the republic, it's restoring it. This Flag Day may go down in history, not as a celebration of the past, but as the dawn of something entirely new. Trust the plan.
Wow.
So that's kind of give you, a little overview. I think it's pretty consistent with what I've reported. It's a different source. Use discernment, but it is kind of pretty consistent with what I've been reporting. So, you know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Painfully true,
Mm.
yes.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's really all of these things are coming. So
Yeah.
um, be prepared, people, for changes. Be prepared to
Yeah.
to use your critical thinking to
Yeah.
say, does this make sense? And
Mm.
examine what you know and then pay attention to how you feel when you hear it. People are capable of changing their minds. I want that for America. I want more Americans to understand who they're being lied to, where the money is going, how the money is being used, and how it's harming people, children,
Yeah.
institutions, our way of life.
I have one more question from a viewer, if you can take it.
Yep.
This is from James McMillan. He says, can you see anything in terms of relationship for him?
James, I get kind of it feels like if something starts out a relationship, I see again, I'm gonna go handshake. Feels somewhat platonic, but it grows. So I would say play the long game. I literally see a handshake. I mean, I wish I could say, oh, hot for love, but everything just goes crazy wild. Boom. I wish it was like that, but I see it being steady handshake, and then it grows. So be open to the slow moving person, but it feels like that there's integrity. I'm using the word integrity.
Mhm.
So expect your integrity and hers to be uh, put in the front, in the spotlight. Okay, go slow, and then I feel like it's she wants to be, she wants you to prove that you're the real deal, and I think you can.
Okay, well, thanks for that. And someone asked, tell us about a parasite cleanse. I think you can just kind of look it up. I'm doing like the 444 fenbendazole for like 5 days around the full moon. That usually kind of does it. And you can do that. I don't know if Scott had a protocol for that too. Remember? Did Scott give
Yeah,
you that
but I've used
protocol?
fenbendazole for
Yeah.
4 days, so
4 days, yeah. So is that it, Barb?
Actually have a weekly ivermectin that I take.
Yeah. There's
But the fenbendazole cleanse is really good. I think it takes 2 weeks.
no, 4 days.
No, but you go off and then you go
Then you
back
go
on.
back on. Right.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
Scott had. Yeah. I was thinking it was something like that, Barb.
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you remember exactly what that was.
Mm-hmm.
If Vicky's still here, maybe she can write it in there. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, tomorrow's the day. Stay home if you can. It's the
Stay
weekend.
safe.
Stay
Mm-hmm.
safe, definitely, and wait and see what happens. I just know at the end of the day, the Bible references, I don't know how many times, I mean, dozens of times, don't be afraid. I had a
Right.
video clip of that. Remember, Barb? You saw that too, didn't you? That video,
Oh, it's in the Bible everywhere.
yeah. But
No,
someone put it together where it was
yeah.
cited and like it
Many,
kind of
many
like thumbed
times.
through all the
Yeah.
pages, right? Remember, you
Fear
saw that,
not.
right?
Yeah.
Fear
Fear
not.
not. Right, exactly. Fear not. So, um, I know I had that, but you know what I found out? I found out that I had these bookmarks on X. And so I was able to like put them in different like folders, and the folders were all gone and everything in my bookmarks were gone. I mean, that's just, why would I want to do business with somebody that does that? It's like, give me a warning that
Yeah.
move your material, or you have 2 days or whatever,
Right.
because I didn't even know. And it's like, I didn't know I was going to lose it because I didn't even remember that that
No.
was part of the premium. So I'm not happy with the service, to be honest. And
Yeah.
you have Linda, Yaccarino, or someone who is just, in the middle of Google and all of that, who is running the show there. So I can't imagine that it would be anything other than this, honestly. So
No.
yeah, I don't know what, I guess, Elon's got to do what his handlers tell him to do. And that's going to be exposed. That's going to be
Um,
exposed. All those power systems are going to be exposed, but we do have to go through some things. So like Mark said in the beginning of the program, stock up on food just in case. Now, if you
just,
have been
yeah.
prepping, you're in good shape. But,
Yes.
and definitely get something to defend yourself, because what we saw in LA, these people are, I don't know, some of them must be soulless. Some of these must be hybrids that are doing this, because
Right.
the kind of violence that I saw, and if you think for a minute that they're, like even during the BLM riots, they were like beating up these store owners who were trying to
Right.
protect their store.
Right.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, this is at all costs. They don't care. They don't think they're going to be arrested because they've got the law in their pocket, you
Right.
know, so
Yeah, they'll
that's
let them out. Yeah.
yeah. So we'll see how this unfolds. I think there's still some more policy things that, you know, Trump has up his sleeve. Let me just go find the website here for Mark, and if I can, um,
Thank you. Oh, and happy Father's Day to
Happy
everybody.
Father's.
yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that. Yeah. I lost my father such a long time ago.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and this is Mark's website. It's marknelsonmedium.com. Come here and you can book a reading, which is really amazing. You just never know who's going to come by. That's what I love about the medium readings, is that you never know who it's going to be and who's going to come by. And sometimes people don't make the connection right away, right?
Oh no. Can I tell you a real funny story? This lady, I read for her and I said, there's a guy here. His name begins with the letter J. I think it's husband. And he said this. It's a short J name. And
Mm.
blank, blank, blank. He said this and this. And she goes, oh, my husband Joe would never say anything like that. It's like, Jay, short name. He just told. Yeah.
I know.
What
I
do you
mean,
mean?
because it's like a shock, but I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I love what Mark does, and that's why I, you know, am privileged to have you both on the program and to share
Back at you.
you
Thanks
with
for
my
having us.
audience. Those are the surprises. Those are the times when it hits you like a ton of bricks, because like you're on the spot, like real quick. It's like, who's this? You know, some people read super fast and it's like, you know, who's this? Who's that? Okay, remember that for later. Who's this? Who's that? And then, you know, here they're telling you this. And you know, do you remember this? And you're like, oh, I don't know, you know, because you
Oh,
don't
I
have
can
time to think
remember.
about it. And once you think about it, you're like, oh, yeah, that's what he was talking
I
about. Yeah.
tell people it's like they have psychic amnesia. They sit here
Amnesia.
and they're like, "No, I don't know the name of my mother. What's my mother?" It's just
You're
like
you're in disbelief.
your mother. Do you know your mother's name? Is a woman? Oh yeah, that is my mother's name. Okay.
Why is that? Why is that? It
I
is.
think
It's
they're
like,
so caught up in it that they just kind of little facts drift away rapidly. Just douche. And it's like, I have all the sympathy and empathy in the world for people because they're getting caught up. They're hearing something they didn't expect. They're shocked or they're happy.
yeah.
And but then it's like, I can't believe this is that my father, it's just like, but I'm telling you stuff that only he would know. I got his name. Please.
I think they're in disbelief. Like they
Sometimes
can't believe
Yeah.
that
it,
they're
it's hysterical, but
Well,
it's
especially if it's the
wonderful.
first time. But I have to tell you, I mean, I've had many readings, and I can just tell you that still, you know, you have to think. You can't remember I mean, we're not computers, but that run
No.
on AI at very high rates of speed. I mean,
right.
we really have to jog it. You know, we really have to knock it out, right? Knock our noggin a few times to kind of, you know, get the wheels turning and get the memory system working again and try to
Yeah.
Yeah.
retrieve it. You know, it's like it takes a long time. Talk about like the thing in the, you know, the internet, the little
Spinning
circle that
wheel.
spins.
Yes.
Like, you know, trying connecting, just wait, you know.
Yeah. Who doesn't love that?
So, well, be safe, guys. You know, these marches are not marked. They're not marked. They're riots, and they're planned in 100. Oh, actually, Rachel Maddow was predicting it was going to be 1,800 cities, and that there were going to be more added to it in her freaking dreams. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I just don't think that many. You know, unless they're all the illegals that came in across the border, you're
Yeah,
not
they
going to
all
find.
show up at once to be arrested. That would be okay.
Yeah, I don't think they're all Americans doing this. You know, I don't.
No,
No,
no.
You know,
no.
especially not under Trump. And, you know, we didn't do this under Biden, right? What happened? Nothing. You know,
Yeah.
it's like excuse me, the conservatives, no, they lost. Take it on
Yeah.
the chin and keep going forward.
Yeah.
But no, the Democrats can't do that because they've been sold out. And, you know, a lot of CCP's behind a lot of this too, I have to say. But
Oh yeah.
honestly, Xi Jinping is the whole thing's going to collapse. They're going to have like different prefectures. They're going to be different like like I wouldn't say it's united, not as a state, but maybe it is, and maybe it'll be like a, you know, a republic of some kind for China
Right.
that's not communist. And so that's part of the whole thing is to get all this, it's a changing of the guard. It's a changing of times. For goodness sakes, this is what age of Aquarius, they say. But, it is a changing of times. So,
Mhm.
look, whatever happens, just ask yourself, ask Jesus to protect you, ask God to protect you, Allah, whoever you, worship, ask, your creator for protection and guidance as to what to do in a particular situation, because, you don't want it to cost your karma just to, that's what I'm saying about going to these riots. I mean, if somebody comes at you, like you're going to go, you're not really realizing what's going to be there. I mean, if somebody, goes to harm you and you, have a weapon on you, now, you shoot somebody, you're going to have to deal with that, so why put yourself in that situation to
Yeah.
begin with, is what I'm saying.
Or
There's
you
going to be
become,
provocateurs there, so you can absolutely guarantee it.
or,
So, I mean, Asheville's got some. Charlotte,
Yeah,
I've
Yeah.
sent you
I
that.
know that's
Be
coming.
careful. Just be careful. Just stay in the house and stay out of trouble.
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
want to be the collateral damage.
No,
Right, exact. That's the word. And and I think Trump will, have the military. He's definitely going to have the National Guard out. You saw they brought in
Good.
not just the National Guard, but the military also, but they can't be everywhere. So I think it's probably going to be, and don't expect it not to spill over into some of the suburbs. I hate to say, I'm sorry to say that. I think
Oh,
that
it
will,
will.
that may
It will.
happen too. So just pray, keep yourselves, you know, uh, well, protected. That's all I can
yeah,
say, So
In
absolutely.
order.
God bless everybody. Happy Father's Day to everyone, and have a
And
great weekend. Be safe out there.
Absolutely. Bye, everyone. Take care
Anything
until
else,
next week.
happens that I need to kind of like make any kind of emergency reports, I will do that. But I have a feeling that they're going to go after our energy grid and internet. So I don't think anybody's going to be getting information. But because you saw this report, you have a much better idea of what's
Yeah.
going on and where things are going than most other people who don't see it. So I wouldn't worry, but definitely don't invite any trouble, right? Just get yourself
No.
protected, get protection. That's all I can say. Oh, did you see? I'm sorry. Did you see the sheriff of this one county down in Florida who said
Oh, yeah.
if you come and you hurt in one of our or in if you shoot at one of our
Throw a brick, throw anything.
law enforcement, just give us the address to whom to send
And the
the
body.
coroner
Yeah.
report to her body. And I'm like, yes, that's
Yes,
what we need.
that's what we need.
He said
Exactly.
we will kill you.
Yeah.
He did. Well, I didn't really want to say that on YouTube
Oh,
again. No, it's okay. I mean, how many times have I said it today
that's
already,
what
right?
he said, not me.
That it,
For
I know.
entertainment purposes only.
Energy.
There, it's all off now.
So that's what we need, folks. We need people who are loyal to the United States, who are loyal to their community, not to other countries. No, not everybody has a price. I'm sorry. You have to
No.
realize that not everybody is willing to compromise and invert their morals. I don't think so. I think the Bible is even for those who debate that there's been changes in it, and I'm sure there has been, there's still enough material there for us to really understand where the moral scales are here, and what we have to be accountable for. So, I just know that we'll all do our best, won't we?
Yes.
So everybody, thanks for joining us. Be safe, have a great weekend, and may God bless everybody and keep
Yes.
everybody
Yes.
safe. Okay.
Very
And of
Amen.
course, my prayers go out to those people in that Indian
yes.
airplane crash,
Yeah.
and stay off of airplanes as well. So have a good night. We'll see you next week. This concludes this edition
Bye,
of the
everyone.
GoldFish Report. Bye bye.